Weekend, thousands of liberal indoctrinated youths flooded the streets of Washington, D.C. to demand more gun control following the tragic shooting in Parkland, Florida. These teenagers who have not graduated high school have taken it upon themselves to lecture the American people that their right to bear arms is outdated and in need of changing, and they are the very people who will make sure that happens. However, while these gun-grabbing teens were busy tugging at the heartstrings of those who are easily manipulated, they failed to prepare for who showed up with massive firepower in the ultimate showdown. For years, the left has been doing what they can to change the public's perception of the Second Amendment, and sadly, it has been a successful mission. The left knew that the only way they could get people to disarm themselves willingly is by influencing the youth to despise our constitutional rights and beg for the government to control us. Over the last several years, conservatives have seen this disturbing trend occurring in our public schools at an alarming rate as educators have been teaching revisionist history that paints our founding fathers and history in an unsavory light. Now, after close to a decade of this brainwashing, the younger generation is primed and ready to demand our nation's laws be changed in the name of security. After the latest tragic shooting in Florida, a handful of teenagers with the help of the mainstream media and liberal politicians to orchestrate a massive rally to demand more gun control in our nation. The rally was called March for Our Lives, and it took place on Saturday in various cities in America and around the world. However, while these teenagers were demanding that people give up their rights to bear arms, they failed to notice the irony of their plight as hundreds of armed security were busy protecting their anti-gun rally. Of course, conservatives did not miss the blatant hypocrisy and quickly compiled the images of the scene of hundreds of good guys with guns, protecting those that want to disarm us all. Here is more from Red State. It is an all too common sight these days. Those shrieking the loudest about guns are unsurprisingly willing to hide behind the shield of armed security. You can attribute all manner of labels to this reality. Hypocrisy, disconnected thinking, elitism, and absence of pragmatism, all are certainly in play. But what these two-faced activists never consider is how their message is rendered impotent when weighed against their actions. At the March for Our Lives taking place in D.C., there was this same stark dichotomy on display. Crystal Hayes, from USA Today, was excitedly posting numerous photos from the event, with some glaring inconsistency on display in a few of her tweets. That is some impressive military might. She also included this amusing video, as she walked the parade route. That's quite an impressive phalanx of weaponized security guarding those speaking out against weapons. That so many today are railing against armed security in schools, while safely speaking from a dais protected by armed security has to be looked at as the height of obliviousness. It is a common threat with those leading the charge. Shannon Watts is a constant voice for gun control, yet has been discovered to benefit from having her own armed security detail.